And then he says, I'll get to it mañana, but mañana for him is next year. Look at him pretending he didn't hear me.
People always think humiliation is this big, explosive thing. They picture shouting, maybe some broken glass, a huge, dramatic scene, but the real, soul-crushing kind of humiliation, it's quiet. It's that ice-cold moment when you suddenly realize everyone in the room is laughing and you're the only one who doesn't get the joke, because the joke is you. That night was supposed to be easy. We were at some rented hall with dim lights, the music was way too loud and the drinks were flowing freely. Honestly, I didn't even want to be there. I just pulled a 12-hour shift at the warehouse. My back was aching and all I wanted was my own bed. But she insisted. And just for a little while, she said, it'll look bad if you don't show up. So I found my cleanest shirt, the one that didn't have grease stains, and I drove us over. When we walked in, her friends were already in high spirits. You know, the type, loud, confident, with those perfectly polished smiles and expensive-looking watches. They all had office, job sales, marketing, stuff I never really understood. I just did my part, shook a few hands, nodded along, and kept to myself. That's always been my style. I'm a quiet guy. And then there was Ryan. Ryan had been in the picture for years. He was one of those just-a-friend types who always managed to stand a little too close, laugh a little too loud, and had a habit of touching her arm or shoulder when he talked. I'd noticed it before, of course, but I trusted my wife. Or maybe I just trusted my own silence to keep things simple. For the first hour or so, everything was normal. We had some drinks, made small talk, and I tried to blend into the background. Then Ryan stood up, holding his glass in the air. All right, everyone, settle down, he said, his words slurring just a bit. People cheered and clapped. He turned and looked right at me. And I especially want to thank this guy right here, he said, pointing his glass in my direction, for being such a good sport. The room got a little quieter. I was confused. A good sport? I asked, not really sure what was happening. Ryan let out a loud laugh. Yeah, man. Most guys would completely lose it knowing their wife spends more time talking to me than she does to them. A couple of people chuckled nervously. I glanced at my wife. She didn't say a word, she just smiled. A small, tight smile. Ryan wasn't done. He was enjoying the spotlight. I mean, seriously, we text every single day. We have lunch together. We have these long, deep talks. Sometimes I feel like I'm the husband and he's just the roommate. And that's when I felt it. That horrible, sinking, hollow feeling deep in my chest. Someone in the crowd let out a whistle. Someone else started laughing, louder this time. I looked at my wife again, waiting for her to shut this down. She finally spoke. Ryan, stop. You're drunk. But her voice wasn't angry. It was ... embarrassed, like he had revealed a secret, not told a lie. I didn't yell. I didn't make a scene. I just asked him one simple question. Is this supposed to be a joke? Ryan just shrugged. Relax, man. Maybe if you paid a little more attention, it wouldn't be this easy. A heavy silence fell over the room. I just nodded slowly. Okay, that was all I said. I didn't say another word. I turned around, walked out of that party, got into my car, and drove away. My phone started ringing almost immediately. She called me 12 times on that drive home. I didn't answer a single one. When I got back to the house, I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep. I just sat down at the kitchen table and opened up my laptop. Something inside me had already changed. It wasn't anger. It was clarity, a cold, hard clarity. I noticed how she guarded her phone, angling the screen away from me. I saw the little smiles she'd have while texting, messages she never bothered to share. Ryan's name started popping up in her stories about work way more often than before. I wasn't looking for a fight. I was just observing the truth that had been laid out in front of me. One night, she was in the shower, and her phone lit up on the kitchen counter. It was a notification from Ryan. I didn't even have to pick it up to read it. The message on the screen said, "Still thinking about that night. He didn't even fight for you." That was it. That was all the confirmation I needed. I didn't confront her. I didn't start an argument or beg for explanations. I didn't have a dramatic explosion. I just started to prepare. Quietly, I opened a separate bank account and started moving my money. I had a consultation with a lawyer to understand my options. I started gathering my personal documents, my birth certificate, passport, financial records, and packed them into a box. I just stopped reacting to her. And it's funny, when you stop reacting, people start to panic. She noticed the shift. "You're being so distant lately," she said one evening, trying to get a reaction out of me. I just looked at her and said, "I'm just tired." Ryan even tried to call me once. I saw his name on the screen and just let it ring. I didn't answer. 3 months after that party, she came home from work to a mostly empty house. All my clothes were gone. My personal things were gone. There was no angry note on the table. There was no final, tearful argument. There was just silence. And she completely lost it. She showed up at my job, crying in the parking lot during my lunch break. She told my coworkers that I was just confused and overreacting to a drunken joke. I just walked back inside. I didn't respond, then reality started to set in for her. The bills she didn't know how to pay. The apartment lease that was in my name, the car payment that she couldn't afford on her own, and Ryan? He was suddenly nowhere to be found. It's amazing how brave some people are when there are no consequences or responsibilities involved. About 6 months went by. One evening, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "I miss you." I read it and put my phone down. I didn't reply. A few minutes later, another one came through. "He never wanted me the way you did." Still, I didn't reply. Then the final message appeared. "I was so stupid." "You didn't deserve any of that." I stared at that last message for a long time. Then I typed back a 2-word reply. "I know." And that was all. I didn't feel a sense of victory. I didn't feel bitter or angry anymore. I just felt free. Because here's the thing, respect, once it's been publicly shattered like that, can never truly be glued back together. And anyone who laughs while you're being humiliated isn't confused. Their true character is being revealed. Looking back, I didn't lose a wife that night. I lost an illusion. And losing that illusion was the best thing that ever happened to me. Thank you for listening.